Okay, so today in Adobe Illustrator, I'm going to show you how to use the feature called the Shape Builder tool. And the Shape Builder is going to create a shape from something that doesn't really exist. And we're going to create a yin-yang shape, which everyone's pretty familiar with that Shape Builder tool. So to start a new document, you're going to click Create New, or you can go to File, New, and it comes up with your new document window. You're going to go to Web, and we're just going to choose Web Common for this particular project, and then click Create. Okay, so your workspace may not be exactly set up the way that mine is, and the easy way to do that is to go to Window, Workspace, and then I'm using Essentials Classic, which if you click it will look like this at first. But what you need to do is expand this panel and collapse the other, and then you have what looks like a very classic Adobe Illustrator Essentials panel. Okay, so we know that this white area here is the artboard, and we are not going to create anything over in the gray because that tends to create problems when we are going to export our art. So make sure that whatever you create stays on your artboard itself and not away or on the gray. Okay, so now that we have our document set up, we need to go save it to our network folder. So you're going to go to File, Save As. Make sure that you are in your network folder. That's where everything should be saved. You are going to title this Yin Yang, and it is going to be a .ai or Adobe Illustrator file, and click Save. This box will pop up, and that's just your options. You're going to click OK. All right, now we're ready to get started. We're going to use the ellipse tool first. Now remember that any of the tools that have this solid white triangle on the bottom right, that means that more tools live underneath that one. So to access those, you just hold down your mouse and the other tools will pop up. We're going to choose the ellipse tool, but we want to create a perfect circle. The keyboard shortcut for creating a perfect circle is the Shift key. And the key to that is holding down the Shift key first, holding it down, then click to drag to create your circle. Let go of your mouse finger first, then let go of Shift key. If you let go of the Shift key too early, it will not be a perfect circle, your alignments won't work, and you won't be able to use the shape builder the way that we're going to. So again, how you do that is you're going to hold Shift first, click to drag to create the circle, let go of your mouse finger first, then let go of Shift. You're going to go back to your selection tool to deselect the circle because we don't want it selected so that we can properly see our anchor points. Now go back to your ellipse tool and you're just going to hover your mouse over the top until you see the word anchor. You want to try and get your mouse as close to the center of that anchor point as you can. Hold down the Shift key and then click and drag to the bottom right until you see that hot pink guideline, that's called a smart guide, that pops up that tells you that the bottom of this smaller circle intersects with aligns with the center of your larger circle. You have to see these smart guides or again your shape builder tool is not going to work the way we want it to. So once you see that smart guide, you're going to let go of your mouse finger first, then let go of Shift. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing except for we're going to go to the bottom up. So I'm going to hover my mouse over to find the anchor point at the bottom center of the circle, right here. And I'm going to hold down Shift, click and drag up until I see that perfect hot pink smart guide telling me that the right side of my circle is properly aligned. You have to see the line going all the way from one circle to the other, that smart guide, to let you know that you're right. So I'm going to let go of my mouse finger first, then let go of Shift. And now I am ready to put this in the right area. So I'm going to go get my selection tool, which is the black arrow. I'm going to click and drag a box around everything so that everything is selected. And you'll see that when I did that, my control panel up here changed to include some alignment tools. I'm going to choose this one right here that says horizontal align center. And that's going to make sure that it perfectly bumps those two circles over and that they're now in the center of the larger circle. With everything still selected, I'm going to go grab what's called my shape builder tool. That's this one right here. The shape builder builds shapes just like what it sounds like. The difference is it builds shapes that are not organically found in the program. So for example, any of the areas that it highlights, if you hover over it, highlights in gray, I can build any of these areas together. To build the shape, I'm going to click, hold, and drag my mouse from one part to the other. And do the same at the bottom. Again, you click, hold, and drag. And that creates this shape of the yin-yang. Now I'm going to get my ellipse tool one more time. I'm going to create one smaller circle to put here in the center. And then I'm going to show you a keyboard shortcut for creating a copy. And that's holding Alt, the Alt key on your keyboard. If you have an object selected, you hold down Alt. While you're holding Alt, you click and drag. It will create a perfect copy of that shape. Okay, so a couple more things. Let's talk about color. So if you select a shape, you'll see up here, you have the solid square, which is your fill color. That's the inside of your shape. And then you have the one that looks like a picture frame. That's called the stroke or the outline of your shape. You can use these basic colors to color it, but I took this opportunity to show my class all about gradients. So if you have the shape selected, you're going to look over in your Windows panel and you see a window called Gradient. If you click it, it brings up all of your gradient options. There's one thing that you have to do before you can begin using a gradient, and that's activate it. And you activate your gradient by clicking this little box right here. So gradient is basically a transition from one color to another, a smooth transition from one color to another. There are two different types of gradients. One is linear, so that is going to be in a line. It could be left to right, top to bottom, or diagonal. And there's also radial, which is circular. It radiates from the center out or from out to the center. You can also change the angle of your gradient by using your angle tool here. Here is what you see is what's called your gradient slider. It's called a gradient slider because your color stops, which are these little tags, can slide around on your gradient slider to change what your gradient looks like in your shape. You have to have at least two colors to make a gradient, so you can't get rid of these quite yet until you replace them with other colors. So I am going to click, hold, and drag some colors onto my gradient slider from my swatches panel. Now that I have a couple of colors on here, I want to go get rid of those black and white color stops. So to get rid of a color stop you don't want, you select it. It will highlight in white, and then you can click the trash can to get rid of it. So I'm going to do that again with the black because I don't really want that black color. Click it to select it, press the trash can. And now I can adjust the way that I want my gradient to look here. Now let's say that I wanted the same gradient over in this other shape. Instead of having to redo everything and get it just right, I can select the shape with the color that I want. It shows up over here in my fill, and then I can click, drag, and dump that color onto any other shape on my artboard. Looks pretty good, I think. Okay, so now we're ready to export this as an image. So I'm going to Control minus, that's just zoom out a little bit so that I can see my entire artboard, because I want to use my selection tool to select this whole thing and move it in the center, more toward the center of my artboard. If you made any kind of mistakes or extra shapes or lines out here to the side or on your artboard, you want to make sure that you get rid of those before exporting, because it could really mess up the way that your yin yang is aligned. So I have it moved in the center. I'm ready to save this. The first thing I want to do is save the AI version of this. So just go File, Save, or you can hit the keyboard shortcut Control S for save. And now I want to export it as an image so that I can upload it to Schoology or my portfolio for everyone to see. So I'm going to go to File, Export, Export As. Make sure that I'm in my network folder. And right here where it says Save as Type, I'm going to click that drop down arrow and I'm going to choose Ping, PNG. There's a couple of reasons we're going to choose Ping. It's an image file, but it also indicates transparency. You guys will get into vocabulary later on, but choose Ping and then click Export. Okay. This is very important because this is your Ping options window. This right here is your preview, and it shows you exactly what it's going to look like when you export this. If for some reason your yin yang is not in the center of this area and it's really small down to the corner, that means you accidentally left some sort of shape or line or dot on your artboard and you need to cancel. Go find it and redo it. It should show up perfectly here in the center, and then you can click OK. And then you're done. That's how you can create a yin yang using the shape builder, and also how you can use a shape builder to create any shape that you want. It's really, really easy. And we also talked about the keyboard shortcut Alt for making a copy. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. We will be doing a robot next time. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.